What up, YouTube? This is Daniel Rucker with Truth Table. Welcome to the table. This is my official first live broadcast. Today, I'm going to be having a guest of mine, a friend of mine, join in from time to time as I built the platform, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have people come in and share their perspective on things. Today's particular topic is going to be accountability. And yes, we're going to be talking about what I enjoy talking about, relationships, these women, perspective, and things of that nature. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have one of my good friends come and join in on the broadcast, and he's going to be sharing his perspective. We're going to go back and forth on what my experience has been, what his experience has been, and just kind of create a different type of dynamic and dialogue. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. But before I really get started, before I get in this kitchen and start doing what I do, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe because I'm doing it for you guys. So forgive me, this again is my first live broadcast. So I'm just jumping in here. This is what you do. Sometimes you gotta, as Mr. Samuel says, you gotta build it while you fly. So you gotta learn how to swim. Sometimes you just gotta jump in there. So that's what we're going to do. So accountability, that's what we're discussing today. And I'm just going to be waiting on him to join in any moment now. Let's see. We can go ahead and get him in here. Oh my gosh. I hope everybody is good today. It's Thursday. It's a beautiful day outside. I haven't stepped outside just yet. Everything I've been doing has been via mobile, web, and things like that thus far. And I do have a couple of things I have to handle later, but not before I get on this channel, not before I share this content. And I believe you guys are going to enjoy this. Like I said, I'm looking to add this element to the show. I'm going to be interviewing different people, having different people on the panel, friends of mine, associates of mine, and I'm definitely looking for perspective, discourse, growth, comedy, entertainment, education, all things of that nature. So where is Mr. Mansell? Let's see, I got him in here. I know I sent him the link. Okay. So let me go ahead. Apologize. I'll make sure he's in here. Got this shit. Feels a little different doing it live. I mean, for those who don't know, I'm really actually never on. I'm not someone who actually jumps on line. Finally alive. Appreciate the support. But for those who don't know, I actually am not a person who really enjoys being on camera. Like I don't take pictures, I don't do videos and whatnot. And surprisingly, those people who do know me and obviously know that I have a YouTube channel, they're like, nah, I don't believe it. There's no way. And I'm like, no, honestly. But some may be asking, why do I do this? I do it because I believe it's necessary. I do it because I believe that perspective needs to be shared, conversations need to be had, and things that are occurring in our current day world need to be discussed. And a lot of times, for the most part, I believe men have been silenced for a long time. They haven't had a space to be able to convey their thoughts or feel comfortable enough to, okay, I just got his text. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Texting my guest star today. He said he's gonna be jumping on now any minute. But anyway, yeah. So for those who don't know, I'm really not a person who I do it because it's necessary, but I don't personally, I'm not a camera person. I'm not a photo person. I'm none of those people. But I push myself, and I'm constantly pushing myself to adapt to the things that is necessary. Because, like I said, I believe I have a perspective. I believe that men's perspectives on things are very important. I believe that we need to continue to share information that is going to help support people's growth in mindset, and have questions being formed, have thoughts being provoked, have perspectives being changed. Because propaganda and media, a lot of times, it's a machine. And I shared that with you guys at one point. I was on the Le People Let's Talk show last week as well as the week before, but I was sharing that, saying that the media machine sometimes is heavy at work. Oh, there's the boy. All right, let me go ahead and bring him in, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see.
Yeah.
There we go. Welcome, sir. How goes it?
You a fool. I don't know what you got me doing here, man, but you a fool.
Oh man, now I'm good, dude. I'm good. I was just sharing with the people that, I'm really actually a person who don't like being on camera. I don't take pictures. You've been friends with me for 10 plus years. And when do you know me to be out here like camming it up and trying to capture stuff? That's not me.
Gotta fight for it, man. You gotta catch me off guard.
Exactly. So that's what I was sharing with the audience while we was waiting your arrival. But yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and dig in here. This is my good friend Aaron. I'll let him introduce himself. He's not shy. He does this. So go ahead, sir.
I'm very shy. Man. I mean, I don't even have an introduction. I'm your boy. I'm Aaron. We've been friends for what, 10 plus years?
Man, it's been a stretch since like 07, something like that. Yeah, it's been a stretch.
So I mean, like I said, I don't need much of an introduction. I'm just still like, you hit me, it was like, bro, I need your content. I need to holler at you. So I said, all right, man, for you, I'll hop on. I'll hopefully say something that resonates. I know how things can get, so
definitely.
So,
okay, well, we won't keep them waiting. So the topic of today is accountability, and I know between me and you having constant conversations, we have those powwows like, man, these women's. But one of the core things that I realize is that accountability seems to be something they like to avoid, something they just they don't want to swallow that. They don't want to own that. They don't want to hold it. So I guess in your perspective, why do you think that is?
I think it's certain things. I mean, for me personally, the history, the past. Accountability, it's not even something I struggled with. It's just personally, because women try to be accountable based off of the men that they are around. And they won't be accountable if they feel that they can flip the table and say, well, you didn't do this. Even if we ain't talking about that, you didn't do this. It's like, hold on. If that's how you feel, you should have brought that up a long time ago. Why you wait till I call into question your accountability to now you want to say something about mine? But, for me, I can only speak on my experiences. One thing someone said to me that made a lot of sense was, I can't tell you anything based off of men because I don't date men. I date women. So, instead of the best I can do is to speak on my own accountability and to speak on women's. And I think for me, like I said, my situations, I guess we'll call them, they lacked accountability either because they either feel they're right or like so they want to turn the tables and point the finger at you first, or it's just they think they're justified in their actions, period, and they don't need to be held accountable. Like, I mean, you've seen it. You've seen actions where it's like, well, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do, and excuse my French, but I'm gonna do what I want to do.
All good.
And that's gonna be what it is. Like, there is no consequences. I don't need to be accountable for this. I'm a woman. It's how things go because I'm a woman.
Yeah, I did that's you already know where I stand on it, bro. That's exactly what it is. And I think more and more, see, there was a time, we're close in age, but there was a time that I do remember that women were like, you know what, I apologize, or my fault, my bad. They held some sort of, I did something to create this situation, or I possibly did something to put you in a state of mind that you're in. That doesn't seem to exist. That's a dying practice. You know, I hear so many stories. I watch so many podcasts. I talk to women live, you know, in person, whatever. And the first thing, what I usually ask when a girl's even telling me about a past relationship, I'm like, well, what did you do? And they're like, what? Why it have to be me? And they're like, no, I didn't do anything. I'm like, so you weren't involved in a relationship. Like you didn't exist. And so you were perfect. Like you were, you know, peaceful. You were compliant. You were supportive. Like you never raised your voice. Like you never had a bad day. Well, no, of course. Okay. So you got to own some portion of your dissolution. And to get them to do that is such a struggle. It's interesting to me, man. It's very interesting.
It's what's a good way to put it? Because you speaking about like relationships, like, well, I mean, they never think nothing's wrong with the relationship anyway. They never think anything that happens if the relationship fails, it's never on them. That's a big one. It's never on them. And like, I get it. Men will sometimes wander, do what they do. Certain things happen, but they never. What's a good way? You used to say this to me, and I can't remember what it was or how you worded it. But you used to word it a way of, what are you contributing? That's causing this, that, or the other. You're not just walking around perfectly in your relationship. You at some point contribute something, or there's some disagreement. There's something that you do that can cause things to run off track. And sometimes nothing they do cause things to run off track. Sometimes it just is the man being the man. I mean, like I said, sometimes men are just gonna be men. But even then, how you handle a situation when a man acts in however ways, you have to be accountable for those actions as well too. Because every action has a reaction. And yes, you may not have done nothing. It's that reaction of how you handle a situation, which can escalate things to a level it ain't even got to get to. And now you making things bigger than it really has to do. Like example, you catch your man texting another girl, or I mean, that's an extreme, I guess. We can even go something small. Any mistake he made needs to be handled as the mistake it is, and not be blown up to be something bigger. But women will blow things up or blow up the whole relationship over something where it's like, okay, I made this mistake. I can be accountable for my mistake. But you holding a mistake for 3 days, 5 days, not forgiving me, dangling over my head like a piece of fruit, treating me a certain way going forward in the relationship because of this and not being able to work through it. Well, you got to be accountable for the fact that you can't get past it. And now you're sitting in a place with someone that you can't get past something, acting like you can when you really can't. And you're now creating a bigger detriment to the relationship than there was. You know, so I mean, that's just one example of like, you got to be accountable in all aspects, even accountable with how you react to things that may not be in your favor.
I got that. So that's perfect. So we can segue right into one of the subtopics, picking the wrong men. What do you think about when it comes down to it? Because see, a lot of times, I personally think women don't have a general understanding of men, period. I think they know more about makeup. They know more about, their biology. They may even know more about food than they do about the average man. And so what seems to happen is they like walk through the world with this illusion, like, okay, this is the type of man I want. But in all honesty, they describe characteristics, but then they want it to belong in a certain package. But they don't always seem to focus on that. So it's like, without saying a lot, picking the wrong man. Where do you think that starts from? And this is obviously your opinion,
I mean, they have what they want in a man, but that goes out the window if he does something that you like. And in the simplest of ways I can put it, women will pick the wrong man who can hit the right button on their body sexually.
Facts.
And look,
facts. You preach.
When a woman likes somebody, Oh, she don't give a damn what you do though. The bare minimum works for her when she likes you.
Okay.
When she loves you, there ain't a gift in this world that you can't have. But
Fact.
you can do all that. Say this to be said. You can do all that for the wrong person because you didn't vet them. You slept with them. And
Mm.
because you slept with them and you be in your feelings and you got these emotions of this, that, and the other, that clowns women judgment in a heartbeat.
Okay.
I know I've been wrong for women I've slept with, but I've allowed them to stick around in a capacity because, like I said, all that shit goes out the window. Like, and this ain't even like speaking on like relationships. It's just speaking on like women are just casually dating. You
Mm.
know, even to the smallest thing. And when you casually dating, I guess those things really don't matter. They can. Some people don't date to marry. Some people date or will casually date because they want somebody around them. They're not liking to be alone. They're not used to being alone.
True. True.
So,
True.
so from a pick the wrong man standpoint, they got to really know what they're picking. They got to be really sure and like hold those standards and stand by them. But at the same time, you can't get everything you want in a package. There has to be, best way I like to put it is you got to have your top 3 to 4 things, and everything else got to be negotiable because you ain't gonna be everything of somebody else wants in a package. But you have to be able to. You got to be able to accept the things you can't change and stand steady and firm on the things you do want to change. I once heard a woman say to me like, recently, this was probably about 2 weeks. She was like, "Yeah, I want to set my friend up with this guy. He's a cop. He has his own house. He has his shit together." And in my mind, I'm like, so he does what somebody over the age of 25 should be doing,
Mm-hmm.
paying their bills, having their career, moving forward in life.
Grown people
That's
stuff.
the bare minimum. Yeah, that's what you should do if you're an adult. Like if you're an
Mm.
adult, you should have your shit together. If you're an adult, you should be paying your bills, moving towards achieving your dreams and your goals and whatnot.
Mm.
That's the bare minimum. Like an idiot can do that. Well,
Mm.
maybe not, maybe not.
I hear
But
you.
I said you got to look at deeper. Who is he as a person? Who is he on a non-tangible level? What are his characteristics? Is he a hothead? He might be a drinker. This dude, yeah, he might have his life together. He might do coke on the weekends, 4 hours, and that's how he blows off steam. You got to
Mm.
look deeper than just the surface of he has it together and he has a good job. But women will start with just something as simple as that and
Mm.
make that the window curtain, the dressing for that's why I'm with him because he has it together. But won't
Do
tell
you
you that this is somebody that will put their hands on them behind closed doors.
right? Exactly. Do you think that women oftentimes waste some of their best years or best versions of self on the wrong dudes and become emotionally and sometimes spiritually drained throughout the
Now,
process?
so one of our mutual friends, and Rod, shout out to Rod. He got his own thing. He got his podcast that he popping. But he said recently, you can't waste your time if you're enjoying yourself. If I'm not beating you, if I'm keeping you out of harm's way, I'm not stealing from you. Like I said, you're protected from outside forces, bears, and you're not getting stuff falling on you. And
Lions and tigers.
yeah, in the most, I'm like watching both ways when you cross the street. I'm
Mm.
not putting you down or harming you verbally, physically, or mentally. If you're there with someone enjoying yourself, it's not a waste of time. Now,
Mm.
I do think that women, when they see things go bad, I'm all for second chances. Oh, no, I'm all for giving an additional chance.
Okay.
You mess up, you get another one chance to fix it. If you can't fix it, then you're probably not going to fix it. It's going to be who you are. It's ingrained. Certain things are just ingrained, or you need to be by yourself to get past that. Because, again, I can't speak for what it's like to date men because I'm dating men. I can only speak for myself and how I've seen women act and react to dating me or other situations.
Mm.
So I do think they don't really waste their best years, but they don't give their best years the honesty that their best years deserve. You got to be honest with yourself in your best years. You got to be honest with like, it ain't always I deserve better. No, you deserve what you put out, and you deserve everything that you earn. You may
Fact.
not deserve a good man because you may not be a good woman. You think
Fact.
you're a good woman because you do A, B, and C, but we ain't gonna talk about D, E, and F that you do on the side, on the low.
Right? Yeah, like them DMs that you be replying to, or them
Man,
flirting
listen,
that you do. Yeah, that flirting that you do.
you can't say you're a good woman because you're good to your man, but you don't talk about, again, you can close them DMs, you can turn off DMs, but you don't turn them off. You like the attention that's coming in.
Exactly.
If a man knows how to reach you to provide something that your man isn't doing, and they do provide this and you don't send it back, or you accept it, this, that, the other, there's a level of respect that goes too. So you can't say I'm a good woman and I deserve this when there's a whole hidden secret counter that you got stuffed underneath them shelves and nobody knows about, where you storing but dead bodies. So to say they waste it, if they do, they waste it by their own actions. Because again, a man's gonna do what you allow him to do, and he gonna be in the space you allow him to be in. I can't be in your life unless you allow me to be in your life. If
That's
you
true.
keep allowing me to be in your life after I mess up and I do this, well, what's that say about you? You ain't doing something to deserve better. You're earning exactly what you deserve by your actions.
My boy Sean in the chat said women never want to get rid of their options. Agreed.
Oh, never.
Agreed.
A woman will never get rid of her options.
Yeah, of course not.
Women will have options the day they are walking down the aisle.
All day. They may even invite dude and have him in the audience just in case. Like, agreed.
Women have options when they want. We have options when we can.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's a different landscape. We definitely go talk.
I gotta wait for my options to hit me back in the DMs.
Right?
You gonna be going down that DM list.
Yeah, you be just, oh, okay. Oh, 30 notifications. All right. Yeah, I get to it.
Oh, I'm pissed off at you today. Let me see who's gonna be somewhere so I can go out and they can just happen to run into me.
Exactly. No doubt. Another thing I wanted to talk about, because we got 3 different subsets. The whole frame, for those who are joining the live broadcast, which I appreciate right now, we're talking about accountability. I'm on with my boy Aaron Mansell, good friend of mine. We've been through the trenches together and gonna continue to be in the trenches together, but it's all good. So accountability. How do you, when it comes to women and their irrationality, their responses? Because me personally, I haven't talked about this on my show yet, but one of the things that I've never allowed a woman I was dealing with do is allowed her to get her emotions so riled up to where I had to deal with her. Like, you are your person. Like, you have an attitude, you are upset, you're bothered, whatever it may be. I don't believe, as the man in your life, I should have to deal with the negative side of that on a consistent basis. Especially if you don't know why you're feeling the way you're feeling, or you're trying to hold the outside influence of that. Like, you made me mad, like a term, like you upset me or you pissed me off. I personally don't believe anybody has the ability to do that. And so one thing I've done is I ask questions and I'm like, look, are you going to stay in this frame of mind? Because either we can not see each other today, or we can end this date, or you can get off this phone and we can talk tomorrow. Because I believe that a man has to hold a woman accountable for her irrational behavior and her thought process. What do you think about that?
I mean, look, as I've worked to figure out my definition of accountability, not just for myself, but for the people around me, and set those boundaries and standards, I've realized that with women, yeah, they'll get emotional. They'll have an emotional reaction. They'll do something based off that emotion, and they'll think it's perfectly okay. And I know we were supposed to keep it in a frame in a box, but I'm gonna go a little bit off. If I'm planning something for myself, my birthday, my celebration, et cetera, and you're not invited, and so your reaction is to go off and do something that you know is going to cause a reaction in me because you're being irrational, and I call you out on it and say, all right, that's how you want to act. Stay your butt over there. Like, stay over there. See, you don't even care. You don't even care. I'm only doing this because you did this. Like,
right.
I said, so you gotta tell them, think about what you just said. I'm only doing this because you're choosing to try to punish me because I set a boundary, and this is your way of getting back. That's irrational. You got to learn how to move and control your own feelings and emotions.
Exactly.
Now I used to try to like dive in their feelings and emotions with them, be down there. It's like trying to swim when you tied up underwater.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's dangerous.
It's like they already drowning themselves out, so it's like, let me jump in and drown with you. Nah, man,
Yeah,
you gotta start letting them drown. Like, and I go again, let me drown if I'm being irrational and emotional, but I gotta let you drown. But they're so tit for tat. You can't just tell them something without them trying to get back.
Keep
or
it score.
Use it later.
Yeah.
Oh, bro. Keep it score. Listen, if you had to pay women every time they try to keep score, be tit for tat, we would be broke. I'd be broke.
Man.
Because it's just I can't explain why, but it seems like when they get irrational, they get emotional, and they make an emotional decision, now you got to go hunt them down. You got to go chase them and bring them back. And it's like, oh, I'm not a dog catcher. What am I doing? Why am I chasing?
Sean said, you can't be logical with an emotional creature. Very true. Very true.
Yeah, look, you can barely have a conversation with emotional creatures, to be honest. You try to break something down to them, and they would go off into left field. Now you got to make a choice. Am I going to chase you in the left field, or am I going to walk my butt back into the dugout and say, you know what, I'm going to get me a sandwich?
Yeah, yeah. You let me know when you're done throwing a fit. I'll be back. I'll be back.
But you good at that. You really good at leaving them in that little space to, all right, cry alone.
I'm a professional.
I'm gonna be over here while you crying. I'm not gonna deal with it. And that's one thing I have learned to take away from you and just other people around me. Like when they start doing all this and huffing and puffing, huff and puff away. Because you're not gonna get anything from it. You can tell them, you can break it down. You can make the most sense to the world. You're not gonna make sense to an emotional creature. You're not gonna make sense when they're being irrational and they're ranting and because what they do then is now not only is the issue at hand the problem, but everything for your entire existence in a life is brought back up. And I'm like, aren't we talking about this? We're right here. We're in today's problem. I don't want to hear about 2 years ago. I don't want to hear about 2 months ago.
Yeah, stay right here. Yeah.
Compartmentalize your problems and deal with that. If you felt some way about this, why have you never brought it up? Why are you waiting until now to bring it up?
Exactly.
They grasp for straws, they reach. You know, it's always a reach.
What I found is the reason why it's become a practice because in my past I've heard from different women I've dated that, oh well, that's you don't want to participate in my emotions with me. That's wrong. That's cold. But what I had to eventually, once they stopped tripping and being irrational, I had to explain to them that it's not about not participating in your emotions. I believe that the type of man I am, I'm willing to sit down with you, have a conversation with you, be on the phone, whatever it may be, to talk you off the ledge. But you're not going to do it in the state to where I'm handling business. If I'm at work, if I'm not able to aid to what is not obviously an emergency, then you being on the phone telling me this to stop my world, for you to suck me in to focus on your crap is problematic for me, for you. And what it teaches you as a woman, unfortunately, is that you are now allowed to disrupt my flow and my productive flow at that over something that is not overly pertinent. I believe that a man should be able to teach that woman that skill set, because it's like a child. It's like when a kid runs up on adults and your mommy, daddy, and you're having conversation. First thing you got to do with that kid is, hey, excuse me. Don't you see what's going on right now? Are you dying? Are you bleeding? Is it an emergency? And if those three things are a no, we can talk about this later. To me, women are no different. They have to be sometimes like snatched out of their emotional realm, whatever going on in their crap, to be like, babe, hey, are you okay? Yes. You're not on the side of the road, stranded? No. Can we talk about this later? We can talk about this later. And not a lot of times what I found is as I've talked them through it, when they got a chance to even sit back and think about it, they come back and be like, you know what? I was tripping. I apologize. This is what it was. It was convoluted. It was a heightened sense of emotion. And it wasn't like they needed my immediate attention for something. Right. I believe that's why I leave them in that state, because it's a training, it's a growth, it's a necessary component for an adult. That, hey, we don't get to just, as men, when we're upset, we don't get to just express that anger the way we want to in our fullness of range. If a dude is out there with a sledgehammer pounding the pavement or whatever, somebody calling the cops. Like, it's go, hey, get him. And so I believe women, it should be no different. Just because you're a female, just because the world panders to you and we create a society where we allow you to express yourself, that does not mean that you get to bleed on everyone. That doesn't mean you get to, just spew your emotional venom that is going to disrupt progress. And that's the reason why.
You know what else you could tie into that? As you date a woman, I've learned as well myself, you got to set those boundaries early and often, and you got to stand on them firm. You got to, I'm learning, you got to hey, you know what? This conversation is not working for me. We're going in circles. You're not hearing it. So I'm just going to stop the conversation right now because you're not respecting how I feel. You're not hearing how I feel. And you're just trying to prove your point. Like it's a game back and forth.
Exactly.
Like you said, a scorecard. So I'm getting better myself at just saying, all right, we're not getting nowhere. Cut, walk away, talk about it later. If we don't talk about it later, we don't talk about it later, because I'm not going to continue to be in a space with the person where I'm going to tell you how I feel. I'm going to tell you my opinion. You need to learn to follow. Women aren't good followers for the most part because they think they have all the answers in a lot of ways. That's why they get irrational. And some of it's because they want to get their way. Some of it's because they think they know best, but they're not seeing the bigger. They don't see long term. They see short term. They see very, very short term. And so what they're thinking makes sense for them when they get irrational for this 5 minutes or this singular thing right here. We're looking at, what about down the line? What about way over here? Exactly. You got to learn to stay within these boundaries that I've created and set for you, because I'm not doing it to control you. I'm doing it because it's what's best for us. And what's best for us may not be what you want to do, but you can't be stubborn all the time. You can't act like you big, bad, and boss. If you knew what was best, you would not be single right now. And that's not to say that we're single because we don't know what's best or vice versa, but we're learning. And as men, like you said, we got to lead. We're the leaders, we're the providers. We shape the relationship to operate in a space that you with us, but you take some of your cues from us, and you let us know, hey, you doing your 2 cents. We rocking together. I respect your 2 cents, but you don't throw tantrums. You don't be irrational. You don't act like a kid in a candy store who didn't get to buy what they want to buy.
Pretty much. I feel that. That's good. Well, we're gonna go to our last little subset. This one gonna be sticky. This is I already know it's gonna be a problem. I've actually done a broadcast about this. It's a opinion that I have that I stand firm on, and I definitely want your perspective on it. But
please tell me it's not. Please tell me what is it? Give me what it is, man.
Unplanned pregnancy, bro. Unplanned pregnancy. Whose
when
fault?
Is a pregnancy planned?
They do plan it. People plan it, but I mean, who's
they plan the trap dudes?
They do, but it's one of those things. So unplanned pregnancy, which ties into accountability, and this could be a shared, sentiment in a sense, a shared scenario. I do believe that obviously as men, we have a responsibility. I'm not excluding us in that responsibility. I think that any human life that is created, we had a participation trophy in the equation. However, the creation in the fullness of that pregnancy, the term, the child actually being born, once that egg is, and once we inseminate, once we what is it? Fertilize, whatever
Right.
whatever the medical term is. Our job is done. Like we are now in the backseat of the baby journey. We have no direction, no control. What I've often seen.
We also ain't got to be around if we don't want to, but continue.
You above for that. But,
hey, look, listen. As much as men can get up and walk away any day they do not want to be there.
This is true. This is true. But
we'll get to that because that plays a part in unplanned pregnancies.
It does, right? Okay, so it's one of the things where one of the topics that I discuss regularly, and it's going to be a continual, is single mothers. And what I, again, going back and find is that when you encounter a single mother, right, the first thing they want to do is give themselves praise and accolades, like they did something special, they did something important. And then they want to give you the victim story on how they were held against their will to have a child. I personally believe unplanned pregnancy, being a single mother, is your choice as a woman. And you have to hold that in the fullness of it, not the glory picture that, oh, I'm going to get pregnant. Oh, we're going to have a family. Oh, we're going to be together. No, because if that crap goes left, which it has a high probability that it will, then you have to own that. You sat back when you figured out you was pregnant. You sat back and you formulated how you were going to carry this situation out, or at least I would hope you would. So anyway, I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Let's start all the way back at the basis of the unplanned pregnancy, which is one, if you are of age and can purchase contraceptive in any way, shape, or form, they got Plan B, they got IUDs, they got
dental dams,
they got condoms. So you can protect yourself at any turn you want to. I don't want to hear I don't like condoms or this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So let's start with that. 2, something grandma used to tell us: don't be out here having sex with someone you ain't okay with them keeping a baby.
Facts.
And women will. I don't want to throw women under the bus.
No, it's okay.
They be letting a lot of dudes run through them raw. Like for one reason or another, they don't know how to say, "Do you have a condom?" Nope. We stopping this right here. Get up and get out. Go get one, or don't bother me unless you got some. Or they'll let them use a condom the first time, or maybe the second time. We ain't got one for the third time. So, on the basis of just unplanned pregnancy, they don't even know. And again, I can only speak for women. I can't speak for men because I don't date them. Women don't even stand on that pedestal strong enough themselves to even say, I don't want to have a baby. I'm going to do the necessary steps on my end to make sure I don't have a baby on my end. Because then you get to be, like I said, and you get pregnant by a dude. He decides he may want to be there for a minute, but then the moment he decides he don't want to be there, he's going to get a sandwich and never coming back.
Yeah.
And now you're a single mom.
Yeah. Or you end up realizing that you didn't do your investigative, job on the first subset, picking the wrong man, and you discover and figure out that he really wasn't all you thought he was cracked up to be. Now you stuck with a little one, and y'all bonded for life. My boy Sean in the chat said women are 100% responsible if they get pregnant. You can't give responsibility to someone who has no authority, and men have zero authority over a woman keeping a kid or not. I totally agree. I think that, a lot of times, again, it goes back. See, it's easy in my opinion, to be a woman and blame all of their problems on men, regardless on if they've ever had a negative interaction with a man, regardless on if they've ever actually experienced something wrongdoing from a man. They hear the stories, they watch the movies, they listen to the songs, they know the lyrics, and they take every aspect of negative in their life. If something is wrong with what goes on in their life, somehow, some way, a man is behind it. Not ever looking like, no, I'm the one that went out to, Miami, got drunk, did drugs, left my friends, didn't protect myself. Like me personally, one of the broadcasts I have on my show.
Man, you talking about my life? Hold on. You talking about my...
This ain't putting you on blast. That bus wasn't for you. That bus wasn't for you.
Whoa.
It wasn't for you.
You could have... Damn. You get a little...
It wasn't for you.
Oh, Playboy.
Nah, it wasn't for you. But I'm saying, like,
answering questions.
Having sex is an adult activity. It's something that you shouldn't be doing unless you're an adult. And I think that needs to be stressed even further because I'm sorry, the moment you bust it open, you're an adult. And if you are going to be doing adult-like things, then you should be operating and be held responsible from an adult-like perspective.
If you going to be walking around here like a $5 hot and ready from Little Caesars, you got to be ready to get eaten.
I'm saying.
Because listen, like I said, these men ain't walking around here. Some of them are walking around with condoms. Some are walking around without them. You can't be letting everybody just slide in that thing raw and then be shocked with, oh my God, how did I end up pregnant? Well, you went to health class, stupid, right?
Right.
You know what it takes to get pregnant, right?
Yeah. Like they
didn't know. Even if you decide to sleep with a man who ain't got no condom, you know you ain't on nothing.
Thank you. No new process of having kids. No new process.
If you have to ask a man after the fact, there's a problem there. There's a problem. You now, men, let's stop just leaving it in. Like, let's stop shooting up the club like it's 3 before 10 night. Let's stop shooting up the club, especially we don't want to raise that child. But women too gotta stop allowing. Men do what women allow us to do. And if you, the first night you meet me, allow me to bang that thing out till the sun come up, and I decide I never want to speak to you again, block your number, don't even give you my real number, don't even give you an IG so you can find me, this, that, or the other, and never speak to you again, and you turn up pregnant a couple months later, well, whose fault is that? You wasn't on nothing. You knew I didn't have nothing, but you wasn't on nothing to protect yourself. And now you sitting here with this sob story about how you got to raise little Jerome all by yourself.
Not Jerome.
On a choice you made. On a choice you made. Like now it's you and little Christopher, and it's me and my son against the world. These men ain't shit. Well, let's talk about how mama ain't shit too. Mama ain't really that much shit because mama will have a baby by a man who don't want to be there, or put a baby on somebody who it may not be their baby because mama's out here thotting and bopping. Push that baby out, be a mom until it comes time to go to weekend and she leave the kid with the grandparents or the aunt and uncle, whoever want to take him that ain't the daddy, and then go do the exact same actions again that got them in this position to be a single mom. So you want to be a single time 3-4 times over. Or mom out here dating a drug dealer, knowing there's a good chance he can get shot or go to jail. Now he ain't around, and you want some level of sympathy, some level of support and compassion from friends and family because you got to raise a litter of kids by yourself because you over here being a little hamster breeding left and right.
Exactly. You know what?
That ain't nobody's fault but your own.
Exactly. It is. I think that they should start announcing all sexual interactions like a heavyweight bout. Like you should have you and the person, and they should tell you, protect yourself at all times. Like that should be the announcement. And then let's get it on. It would cause for more of a rational, logical outlook, because I don't understand. I hear it all the time. Women are like, well, I don't know how I got pregnant, or it was unintentional. Like it wasn't on purpose. So
how do you purposely? I mean, there is a way to get on purpose. There is on purpose. It is on purpose. So we're not gonna go there. But if you go out and you sleeping with men who ain't got condoms, you have to understand that unless you're protecting yourself on your end with whatever they got to protect women, there's always a chance. I know there's always a chance when I'm out here. I mean, I do the best I can to make sure I'm always got what I need to make sure I don't have to be a father again. I barely like being a father. I'm like, look, these kids is damn near grown themselves. If I got to start all over, I might disappear myself. Huh? I might fake my death and move to Cuba. But you know what you're doing when you go out to the club or you go out anywhere or you meet a dude and you go to dinner with him. You can protect yourself. How hard is it to stop something and say, you ain't got a condom? Because I'm not on nothing. And they'll do, well, it's okay, I'll pull out. But what if they don't? This is where the vetting comes. This is where the vetting comes.
Exactly.
Because just because they say they will don't mean they can pull out late, or you never know. But you work in that space, and I guess women will assume men work in that space of thinking if it happens, we'll be okay. These dudes ain't thinking that far ahead. They're not thinking, if I get this girl knocked up, man, I either gotta like push her down some stairs, pay the $500, or be a dad. Like, they're not thinking about what they gotta decide to do most of the time. So I definitely think it's on the woman. Well, she carries the baby. She gonna be left with that responsibility. Like I said, I ain't gotta be here. I don't have to be here. And you need to get that through your thick ass skull. I can leave at any time, and you can be mom of the year for every year. You can also pay all them bills and buy them diapers by yourself. But then
it's a harsh reality. Like, it's a harsh reality.
Then you're gonna sit here playing old school R&B, talking about how you every woman and this, that, and ain't nobody got time for that bullshit. No one has time. When you end up with a deadbeat dad, you end up with a deadbeat dad because you allow him to be a deadbeat dad. You knew he was a deadbeat before you got him to the dad stage. He was a deadbeat man in your life. You knew he was. Women know who their man is. This ain't like we're not solving math problems. You know who your man is, because your man's gonna show you. Women will see a man who don't take care of the kids he ain't got and think he gonna take care of the kids he has with her. For whatever reason. And sometimes women, and this is why when you say unplanned, it ain't planned. It may be unplanned to you. It may not be unplanned to them. Because sometimes women will see a man who takes care of their kids and be like, I'm gonna have that man's baby.
Or they see how he living and they feel like, I get you.
It's like it's my job to take you out the game.
I guess so. They need a lifetime stimulus package. So
you need a lifetime kick in the throat.
No doubt. Violence, right? I choose violence. I feel that.
Every single day.
Yeah. Every single day. Man, it's been a pleasure having you. You know, this was fun.
I got stuff. I got one for you off the
oh yeah. Let's go. We live.
Listen, here's what I want to know. And I know this is the conversation. I mean, we already talked about wasting time and how you can't waste your time if you enjoying yourself and it's a good time, and that's the other. I hate when women say that, by the way. He wasted my time. Bitch, you went on vacations. You was smiling in these pictures. How did I waste your time? Because it didn't happen on the time frame you wanted it to move in? Because I didn't move at your speed. And nah, man, no one wants your time. But marriage versus being single. Because I know we had a little conversation about this. You know, and we look at you having their moments where you like, boy, I could do this forever. This feels right. It feels good. Then like you trip over a shoe and you like, I can't stand this motherfucker. I need my peace. Don't talk to me for the next 3 days. But marriage versus being single, man. Like for you, you believe in the sanctity of marriage? Hell, you're the reason I have came back around to believing in marriage and being like, I would like to have a more traditional marriage. Because you knew for me for the longest, I was like, look, we're gonna change your name and you can leave me the hell alone. but you got me back in that space. I thank you for that, because you got me to open my eyes more about all relationships, putting 2 feet in, and having that person there to support you, even down to when you said most successful men have at some point have been married, and it's something that woman brings to their life, that they not only want to marry them but helps them excel to the next level and stages of life. So I do want to thank you for that personally, because for the longest I was like, man, I can't marriage. I'm barely okay with parenting these goddamn hungry ass kids every day. But how do you feel, bro? Like, break it down to me, your point of view.
When it comes to being getting married or being single forever?
Yeah.
I think
I know you're torn.
Man, I will say I'm torn, and I'll tell you why. The main reason to keep it condensed, keep it short, is that I grew up under the illusion that marriage was just the steps of life. Like, the steps of life. You're a child, you're a teenager, you graduate, you either go to college, military in my case. You get a job, get a career, you work, find some woman you want to deal with, marry her, pop out some midgets, pay bills, die. So I looked at it from that standpoint, like, this is just a natural flow of life. As I've gotten older, though, I don't think that they give enough information to men and women, but us as a pair, because the reality is, bro, when you marry a woman, you are essentially taking her as a responsibility. Like, you're making yourself responsible. You are positioning yourself to be safeguarding another person for the rest of their life, the rest of your life. And then if you choose to have children, now you're multiplying that, responsibility.
And that's from a legal standpoint too.
Exactly.
Legally, you're responsible for somebody.
Exactly. So the emotional side of it sounds good, feels good, idealistically, conceptually. Why not? Like, if you're rocking with someone and you trust her, she trusts you, y'all flow is dynamic, you don't want to deal with no one else but that person, great. But the reality kicks in for me is like, what if I just don't want to hold it together for a year or two? What if I want to quit on life? What if I want to check out? When you're a married man, you don't have that option. Like, you are a machine. You are thoughts. You are protection. You are so much. And most women expect that. Personally, that freaks me the heck out. Now, what I shared with you in regards to identifying that the most uber successful, for those who weren't privy to that conversation, I talked to Aaron like about a week ago, I believe. And I was just like, just flowing. I was like, dude, do you realize that some of the most successful men on an uber level of success didn't become that way until they got married? And I use Jay-Z and Kanye specifically as the example, because everybody know Jay-Z was, successful. Everybody know Kanye was successful. But the moment Jay got married and then the moment Kanye got married, man, you're talking, they double, quadrupled their net worth. And yes, they were already grinding, doing their thing, being successful, but it was something that seemed to just propel it at a faster rate, because they were single longer than they were married, but they didn't see none of the growth that they did married, that they did single. And I've heard this guy named Anton Daniels talk about it, that marriage is one of the key components to aligning yourself with it's almost like activating your superpowers as a man. Like, you can be successful, but then you marry and it's like the universe partners with you to now make sure you ascend to the full level of self. Like, whatever you're capable of by yourself as a single man is one dimensional. The moment you become a married man, it's like the doors open. And so it got me thinking, and I'm like, but I don't want to make that move just from a business aspect solely. I think that there is a business application, because I even talked about on my show that marriage is a business. So I'm torn. I'm torn.
I hate the business aspect of marriage because, and this is speaking from my own experiences, whatnot. I mean, my mom, she runs everything like a business, even down to how she is as a parent. And I don't want to say that's stunted her relationship growth or her relationship progress, but I do definitely know, because she is the primary parent that has been around. And as much as she wants to say your DNA from your father, that, the other, she's been a primary parent. So my learns of lessons, relationships, and love have come from her. And she's always treated it like a business. And I find myself sometimes treating it more like a business than a relationship, a loving relationship. And so all that you said, I agree with. And I'm having to learn to love in a whole new way to make that determination down the road. If I want to be this loving husband, supporter, and everything for somebody. It's one thing in a relationship when you're just dating someone, because you don't have to sign a paper to get rid of somebody. You just got to say, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Walk away.
And they can't take your stuff.
They can't take your stuff. Now for me, and I think this is just because I'm a person who doesn't hold stuff tight. I don't care if you take my stuff, because I'm smart enough to know if you take my stuff, I know how to rebuild and get more stuff.
I feel that.
So I never look at it from if she divorced me, she get half my shit. Well, if you put up with me, put enough with me, knowing who I am and how I am, you might deserve half my stuff because I'm a whole lot to deal with. Where it's like, yeah, you know what, you might need that, but it's just the business aspect. I don't like going into a business. I look at the marriages that I see that are successful. I know a couple people. I've seen a couple of successful marriages. And I see the marriages that aren't successful, and I try to see what are, because you don't know the ins and outs of what people go on behind their doors, but what do you know projected outwards that cause some of the rifts, that cause some of the issues? Money is the number one reason for divorce.
Number one.
Finances. And so you always got to keep that at the front of your mind if you're going to get married. And so for me, I don't want to marry someone who thinks like a business and thinks about the money too hard. If we together, we together. We gonna balance these dollars one way or another.
Agreed.
Well, you can't balance the dollars if you ain't being 100 about your dollars. Because you got to think about like, and I say this to a lot of people. People want to get married, but they don't want to do the joint account. But you'll tie your social to somebody. So you won't tie your bank account, which I still access with a marriage license if I go down to your bank, because technically I'm your partner and I still have access to it by law. But you'll tie your social to somebody who might have a fucking 600 score while you at 850, and now your shit's gonna drop and they shit's gonna rise, and you're gonna take on their student loan debts and they unpaid car debt, and they had an apartment they defaulted on 3 years ago that's still sitting there. You still take on a whole lot more financial debt. But you're talking about money that you don't want to combine to do things together. It throws me off a bit sometimes, because it's like you are taking on more than the little $4,000 you got in your bank account. Like,
oh no, it's serious.
You don't want me to have access to your $4,000, but you perfectly fine having access to my 50K debt.
Yeah. Nah.
And then we try to go buy a house. We try to go buy a house, and we can't go buy a house because of me. You looking at me crazy. Because you're like, well, we got the money for it, but your credit score, you married me knowing this. But you were so focused on this, they hyper focus on A, and they don't even worry about B, C, and D. And I feel that when you go to marry someone, you got to put an even balanced focus on everything. You got to sit down. If we gonna get married, if you do get to the point of marrying somebody, you should know all that you're getting into. Unless you just one of them people who gets married after 60 days because you're far in love. But that's a whole nother level of ignorance and stupidity and blindness.
I get you. I want to speak to what my boy, because Sean texted in the comments. He said that the examples I use who they married are like two business mergers. And I agree with what he's saying. I use them as an example because they're prominent public figures that everybody knows about. And they're the most recent brothers, and then in the entertainment space, to join the Billionaire Boys Club. But like I've explained to you, Aaron, they're just two people. When you look at the Forbes list collectively at men across the board, any man that stands at you're talking super successful. Steve Jobs was one. Bill Gates just recently divorced. He was one. He didn't marry a brainiac. He didn't marry a surgeon. His wife was his secretary. She worked at his company, actually. But
she held him down, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's rich now, yeah. But my point was, when you look at the billionaire list, you don't find many single men, if any. Most of them are married, regardless on
maybe Diddy.
Diddy's not even a billionaire yet. He's not even a billionaire yet. But I'm not saying that there isn't any. I'm saying if you look at it, it's a smaller percentage. The collective is married. Most of them are married. You almost can't name one billionaire man who don't got a wife, who don't got a spouse. You name anyone, they had a spouse. Like even Jeff Bezos recently got divorced, but he was married well over 20 years. Elon Musk is married. Mark Zuckerberg is married. Larry Ellison, like you name them. But so I guess that was one. It got me thinking. The reason why I use that as a point of reference was that as I'm still journeying to, build my brand, build myself, expand my business, you're expanding your business. I don't want to be foolish to miss out on the fullness of the growth. I think that's what has me more intrigued about the idea of marriage in that sense. Yes, there's the romantic component. Yes, the partnership component. Yes, it's going to be a huge amount of responsibility. But I don't want to rob myself. It's like knowing as an athlete that if I ate kale, 3 times a week, I can elevate my vertical 6 to 8 inches. Right. And I refuse to eat that because I don't like the taste, but I'm robbing myself of the Olympics. I'm robbing myself of arriving in the world at my fullness, and right. That's the way, in a sense, it was explained to me that as a man, even Kevin Samuels, which I'm a huge fan and a supporter of Kevin Samuels, he talks about it, that most men are afraid to get married, but they're foolish because even like Dr. Dre recently, got divorced and he paying old girl $200,000. The man was out on a date like a week later with a whole nother girl. Like, so he's obviously not afraid of the idea of another woman, potentially maybe even going down that route. So it was something to consider. And that's how I'm looking at it now from this 35-year-old mind and going into 36.
Look. Gotta do what works for you. That's what I tell people. You gotta find that space. And like I said, it took a minute to find that space. Like, I'm learning to not just date just to be around someone. Like, date with a purpose.
Dating with a purpose
is like date with a purpose and date to get married. But I'm also asking the right questions. I'm also, I guess, vetting a little bit better. Like, obviously you don't want to deal with someone who got a little crazy and got a little baggage and don't know how to act. You want them to be able to act right. It is the basics of what you want from someone when you meet them the first couple of days, couple of weeks. I'm learning to ask the bigger and stronger questions. What do you want long term? What are you doing long term? What's your plans long term? Because I may not always have it together, and I may have my moments where it's like I step up. Look, we can't be perfect all the time. We're gonna be pieces of shit sometimes. It's just in our nature. We gonna and by piece of shit. I don't mean piece of shit in a sense of cheating or being, just doing. We're men. By nature, there's certain things that are just gonna happen at times. We ain't always gonna want to agree with you. Yeah, that too. We don't always want to agree with you. We don't always want to be around you. We don't always want to spend all our time with you. Like, imagine being with a girl who, perfect example, I'm gonna go into one. Getting mad because, you go out a lot. Well, you met me going out. Well, what happens if you're a husband? What I don't want my husband being a man who goes out. We ain't even boyfriend and girlfriend. Why are you
You're skipping steps? Like, you're skipping steps,
bruh. Like, did you put you? It's like you put in a cheat code on a video game. How you get from here to here? We ain't even got there yet. Don't tell me what you don't want me to do as a husband when we're not any boyfriend and girlfriend. You met me going out. I go out. I make friends with people, and now you got all these new friends that are. You know what? You sound stupid because no one's saying that to you when you go out. You make friends and things like that. But like I said, it's a lot that goes into it. I also have one more for you. What's a good way to word this one? I had it and I know how to word it, but I want to make sure I don't come off real aggressive or put anybody down who may be taking what we say as geared towards them, because it ain't geared towards them. I'm speaking from experiences. Oh, look, like what I say from the jump. All I can do is speak from my experiences because I don't date men, I date women.
Got it.
So, do you think women hear you when you tell them things, or do they hear the parts they want to hear? Take it for what they want to take it for in their head. Do they always hear you, or is there a lot of do you find yourself having to break things down to the simplest form? And why?
I think that women have what I call template hearing. So I think that most, if not all, women have a condition. Like, the women are very strategic. They're highly intelligent. I will give them that. When they ask questions, they already have the answer that they want to hear for that question. I don't believe that they're really truly open to your individual answer or your individual perspective. So they're feeling, it's like they are always putting themselves in a position for you to now stroke their emotional ego, which is why they ask what they ask. They don't expect you to really be coming with a genuine, pure response, especially one that's objective to what they already assume it should be.
I'm gonna touch on what you just said. Their emotional, what did you say, decision?
I said like they're emotional. Well, they like to have their ego emotionally stroked, like to be
There
emotionally
you go.
stroked.
That
Yeah.
I say that to say, if you tell a woman, they want you to do all the work in those situations.
Mm,
They don't put in the work themselves.
mm,
They'll hear something like, if you tell your girl, I love you and I miss you, she gonna expect you to act on it, right? They're not, they hear that I love you and I miss you, they're not taking that as, my man loves me. Maybe I should, he misses me. Maybe I should go take some action. They don't take action on your words.
Oh, they
They
forget
hear and
all of
expect,
the things you did. Yeah, they forget all of the past successes you had. What's going on right now? You say that,
yeah, there you
but
go. There
what's
you
going
go.
on right now? Like, yeah.
It's just, man, I mean, a lot. But then you made a comment of they um they don't listen. But that goes to back to what we was talking about off air. Remember, I called you and I told you about I made the comment about women will emotionally check out way before they physically check out. And I
Facts.
said, that's crap. That's dumb. That's unfair. That's bullshit. You need your ass beat for that.
Mm,
Because they say women are better communicators than men. So if you're a better communicator than a man and you check out emotionally, why are you
mm.
not verbalizing this so you can move on the situation? And I had a person hop in my DMs to combat me on that, knowing good and gosh darn well she has no business to combat me on that because I know her history, and was like, we give you chances to get right. We hoping you get right. This today, I was like, it sounds like excuses. It
Mm.
sounds like you trying to justify the fact that you know who you dealing with and you don't want to leave. I said, so when you do want to leave, now you still don't want to say nothing.
Well, I think that, and we can definitely talk about that on another broadcast in the future.
Oh
What
yeah,
I
definitely,
think the
yeah.
reason, yeah, what I think the reason why women do that, this is my opinion and based on my experience too, is that women may check out emotionally in a relationship, but the reason why they don't make the immediacy of a choice is because there is a, they always have a grace period that they're looking for you to now revamp and reinvent or re-spark or re-interest them.
I
That's
hate
what
that.
I believe.
I hate that.
At the same time, depending on how good they have it, they're not always, they usually don't segue and leave unless it's a better opportunity. They call it monkey branching. So,
Or unless they getting physically beaten and they can't.
well, yeah. And those are
Those are
such,
probably the only two. But those are usually the only two reasons why, to be honest.
yeah. And those are such low percentages of domesticated situations. You know, I do know that they do occur, but in most cases, most women, especially in these first world countries, are not being held hostage against their will. They got the entire judicial system on their side. At the moment that they pick up the phone and say, you know, I'm being, you know, held or I'm being assaulted, and they hear the woman on the phone, they pulling up her location. They sending out 2, 3 squad cars without question. It's just, so I believe that a lot of times what happens is women by nature quitting a relationship for a woman in most cases is really a big deal. It's a blow to her ego. She takes it as a loss. Women don't like to lose. They don't like to gamble and lose. And the reason why they check out emotionally is because I believe that they're trying to give it that lag time. They're going through their thought process of, is it really that bad? Can I deal with it? You know, is it better? Is it worse? They go through all these things. At the same time, they're never going to tell you this, but I do believe that they're waiting on a man to also recreate the reason why she fell in love with him in the first place. And most of the time, because they don't communicate, men don't have no clue. They thinking, well, I thought we was good. You know, everything's straight. Like, you know, you still here. Like,
I don't. I for me personally, I just don't like that. Like you said, we'll go into that more, but I just don't like the whole not communicating and checking out, but acting like they're better communicators, but not being better communicators and making excuses for why they don't communicate. Well, that kind of falls in line with accountability.
word of the day. Word of the day, definitely.
And on that note,
And on that note, yes, sir. Yeah, I think, man, like I said, I appreciate it. What I think we should do, and I know I'm open to doing it, is what we may have to do. We're gonna segue into a topic, especially of the female mindset, like that, breaking up and why they do what they do. We may want to pull a female into the broadcast, throw her on the platform, put her on the live, and see what kind of sparks we can create. I'm down for that.
I got to pick a good one. I get to come back. This is a one-time.
Oh yeah,
Back.
Oh, you got a seat. Oh, you got a seat at the table. Yes, sir.
Next time, I'm bringing me a bottle of tequila to sip on, some little I didn't know I had a place at the table, man. Look, I thought I was making a guest appearance to help your brand and your profile, but you want a brother back. Are you sure you want me back? Like,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I might get you have me on the wrong topic. I might mess around and get assassinated. They have snipers on the roof. You might be careful what you're talking about with me, man.
We got protection for that. We
choose violence. Wake up and choose violence. What I tell you every day.
We choose the violence. Yes, sir.
But yeah, we're gonna have to vet a female to come through. Or you can vet them, you can not vet them, but you don't want to bring someone who's gonna be an easy target because
no. Yeah, we gonna make it. We gonna create some fireworks, some sparks. So
I like a challenge. I like my women to be able to count. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Counting is essential. Yes, sir. But all right, man, I won't hold you. Thank you guys that joined me today. Thank you, Sean, for joining us in the live chat as well as the comments. I appreciate the support. And until next time, signing out.
All right, bro. Yep.
That was cool.